What does fear smell like? And can we use scent to control behavior? If a fine cheese and a dirty foot share the same molecular smells, why is one a delicacy and the other repulsive? Our next speaker can answer these questions. She works with smell, language, and communication. She creates art that questions our attitude to senses. She owns a collection of 7,000 smells in neatly labeled tins. She's proud to be nosy. Please welcome the nasally groundbreaking Sissel Tolaas.
Hello, everybody. Where's my slides? Am I supposed to let you come on stage and smell my armpit? Maybe later. Yes, I'm happy to be here. It's hard to compress 20 years of excitement in 20 minutes of excitement. I do my best. I see smell as important information about the situation, and more than just manipulating and giving illustration to the vision. We communicate through smell, so do animals. Animals do it subconsciously, consciously. Humans do it subconsciously. Nevertheless, if you Google people smell, you get this. If you Google people smelling, you get this. If you Google Sissel Tolaas, you get this. Off we go, looking at the world from a different perspective. 2 steps down. We are born with amazing tools called the senses. These tools are there for free. We just have to reprogram and re-educate them. Humans, rats, and cockroaches are the biggest generalists on planet Earth. The purpose of the nose is to find partner and find food. Don't forget this. We live in a world that is driven by vision. Everything is about the look of things. I started off to rediscover the world through smell. Without any kind of tools, analog, using my own nose, putting my nose into everything, building up an archive of 7,630 smells from reality. In 2004, I started to get approached by the industry, who thought I was a little bit dangerous and might destroy the business. So they offered me a job. I said, maybe you'd like to work with me rather than I work with you. So I got access to amazing knowledge. This is my lab, consisting of 4,000 molecules with what I try to change the world. These are some examples of what I do with what I have found out about smell of the world. These are cities all over the world, literally putting my nose first, identifying sites, identifying cities, and try to understand the city beyond the way it looks. Tolerance doesn't start with how you look and what you believe. It starts with what things smells. So how can I challenge people to go beyond the notion of bad and good and start to speak about smell in a world of smells, and the whole world is full of it. So I analyze people's garments, tell them who they are beyond the way they dress. I have access to amazing tools that enable me to do snapshots of my surroundings. This is garbage depot in Mexico City. This is rotten meats, and this is iron display in Istanbul. This is catfish in Missouri River that's turned into a catfish burger at the tank station. My assistant ended up in hospital eating this food. And by investigating it from a different perspective, you find out certain things about the society you otherwise wouldn't know. So this is where the result of my findings are going to the big lab in the US, get analyzed, I get the peaks of the molecules, and with that kind of information, I go to my lab and I try to reproduce the smells I found and breathe every day. So what do I do with this? These are several city examples how I display the smells that I find. Decontextualization of reality, placing it in the context of creativity, call it art, design, and beyond. I call myself a professional in-betweener because there's a whole world to smell and a whole world to educate how to smell. So how can you limit yourself to just one discipline? This is Berlin, different area of Berlin, placed in a bottle. And in my bottles, there are messages. The bottle is just holding the message. It's a hardcore smell, smells from different neighborhoods. The product is about tolerance. And you walk around the street, you don't see the smells. You only can approach them by putting your nose And by awakening interest in the context of a museum or any kind of other display, you trigger people to go beyond and get out in the city to find these smells themselves. So these are Berlin in a bottle, and this is the project on display at MoMA in New York. Tokyo, I turned into a game. I was offered a huge room at Tokyo Museum of Modern Art, and they told me people in Japan, they don't like to smell. So here we have masks, and here we have air cleaner for your room. I said, no, let me try. People were lining up to smell Tokyo, and they couldn't get enough of it. Here they are smelling their own city, maybe for the first time. And we are trying to sterilize and deodorize and sanitize our reality to such an extent it's not anymore healthy for anyone. So these people are contributing to my research. I used the platform of creativity to perform research. I could have sat in my lab and do these things with rats and mouses. But smell is about life and breathing, so I have to do it in the reality I live. This is Kansas City, Missouri. It's about segregation in the Midwest of the US. I made a smell game between two states. So they were competing who had the most interesting smells. And these are the neighborhoods I put my nose into for 6 years, came up with different tools for everyone to get out in the city and find each other's smell. So off people went with the smartphone or analog maps, and every neighborhood I've been working in had a map indicating, oh my God, it's already 20 minutes, I'm sorry, indicating where they could find smells. And they were running around looking for each other's smells for days, for months, etc. And the winner, and the contributing with words, contributing with language, and it was amazing. The winner got my nose in gold, and it was fantastic. And the winner was a homeless person that never ever thought had any function in life. Mexico City, I did with Harvard for 7 years about pollution, trying to find name for the pollution, beyond the way it looked on TV, looking into pollution from the perspective of the nose, you understand from emotional perspective. 31% of communication is rational, the rest is emotional. So if you can interact with reality through your emotion, especially the nose, you really understand beyond what you suspect to understand. So this is Istanbul, triggering language, triggering neighborhoods, and contribution with people in the city, speaking about invisibility, the layers behind the surfaces, finding out what is performed here, why you should have to and need to respect it. And for me, education is very important. Every project I do, I invest a lot of money and time in educating children, because if you want to place your knowledge, your ambition somewhere, you have to place it in education and the next generation. These kids are smelling Manhattan. They could not get enough of it. If I gave them some soap or deodorant, they said, oh, Ma, that's like home. Let's have more fun. Let's have the city. Let's have real stuff. So here you have kids from all over the world trying to articulate what they are smelling, trying to understand smell beyond the notion of bad and good. This boy made a drawing of sewage, and his teacher said, oh, maybe you don't understand the drawing. He said, I think I do. This boy never ever said a word. He never had made a drawing. He smelled the smell of sewage, and this is his contribution. And it's amazing. We are born with alert senses. We forgot to use them. We are primarily touching screens and looking at things. And I think it's about time to restart how the body actually could function. Pollution looked like this. This is my version of it. This is another pollution version. This is my pollution. And the kids start to play with serious issue and understand it and contribute in an amazing way. I'm slowly going into the most exciting one, and then I'm stopping. So here is another aspect of my work, which he mentioned at the introduction. I was commissioned by MIT in 2006 to do a project around the senses, new technology. I was curious, could I, if my nose was sophisticated enough, could I smell a person's state of mind and psychological state of mind, and what if? So I had access to 21 men that suffer from serious phobia towards other human beings. I gave them a device that collected their body sweat at the moment of a fear attack, and I replicated the sweat, put it on walls through a nanotechnology that make the wall become the skin of a person. And what is amazing with smell, you immediately react. 2 synapses, you trigger emotion and memory. And this is amazing. What can we do with that? So these are different stations that the sweat project was traveling. This is Beijing Olympics. I had 21 smelly guys lined up. The Chinese could not get enough of it. They were touching the walls, and it's like a visible portrait of a person. You could touch all over, downstairs, upstairs, in the middle, in the head, and it was amazing. Kids were thrilled. This is in Tokyo, and the parents were like, oh, don't smell, it's sweat. Come on, stop. And the kids were just like, unbelievable. So I took it the next step. In Beijing, in Shanghai this year, I made my own smell on display. I had a whole room at the opening of the Minsheng Museum, so people could literally smell me, touch my skin, and it was a quite interesting experience to walk into myself somehow. And we heard, smell trigger emotion. Look at this. These are Chinese youths coming to my wall and writing love letters to each other. Here, they start to kiss my wall. And touch the wall. You see the white part, it's touch. So they touch each other, and like the chain reaction of kisses and touching. And I think it started to, a very interesting movement in Shanghai. And when I was supposed to remove the wall, they made a demonstration. Said, no, we want the wall to remain forever. So the museum decided to keep the wall. I don't know what to do when it's full of lipsticks. Maybe I get the cosmetic company to sponsor my next research, but nevertheless. So I then decided to go a little bit further, and I turned my body sweat into a soap. So public buildings in Shanghai could wash themselves with the smell of me. Just to remind, maybe we are cleaning ourselves too much. Maybe we are removing who we are too much. Maybe we should put it back again. I did a talk for the World Congress of Detergent, and I did the same with CEOs of all those big companies that produce all the detergent in the world, and they started to clean themselves with body sweat, and they're like, huh? Oh, really? This is how far we've gone? So, if nothing else, a reminder that maybe we should start to rethink how to do things. And I put myself in the context of commercial world, the most high-end fragrance fair in the world, in Florence, where they speak about perfume. I start to speak about body sweat. So this is replicated body sweat. You can touch guy number 6, you can wash yourself with guy number 5. And if you lost your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you can wash yourself with him or her for the rest of your life. And there's a body lotion for those who want to go a step further. And now we are talking. Here is what I did with Christina Agapakis for the Synthetic Aesthetic Project, where all my body smells and body bacteria that cause some of the smells suddenly took another shape, another form. So here are different parts of the bodies with different bacteria we find. And so we did look into cheese. As you all know, the comparison between body and cheese is very often the case. And in the case of the cheese, it's a compliment. In the case of the body, it's not necessarily a compliment. So we wanted to change the notion and see what happened if you suddenly start to, use the body for cheese purposes. So here is the bacteria in cheese, and here we are sequencing body bacteria and making plates, and for the purpose for fermentation. And this is my nose, and this is my nose cheese. And for the Dublin Trinity University workshop, we got famous people to donate their favorite human bacteria. So I got Hans Ulrich's forehead bacteria, Olafur Eliasson tears, Michael Pollan nose, and the fun thing is these cheese smell like the people. So it's like me as a cheese. And I have clients who think this is real fun. Apropos environmental issues and recirculation of things. You all know this guy. He has amazing amount of sneakers, and some of them are dirty. And I headspace some of these sneakers. I found this amazing molecule causing this smell, and the same I found in this cheese. So here we go. I recirculated. I scrapped the Snickers and made Adidas sneaker cheese for the Olympics in London. So all this fun, and smell is fun. We have to bring play back to life. And the senses cause this, especially the nose. It's fun in a good way to learn in the context of play. Wherever I do my workshop, be it Mercedes, be it Total, be it children, be it kindergarten and growth, more grown up and university, nobody leave the room without a big smile in their face. The topics of concern can be serious, as serious can be, but it is amazing. So these kids, this is in Istanbul, a lab of chemistry, with what is going on when you eat. Not just tasting, but you also, the sense of smell is very important. So these kids are testing the chemistry of eating. And it's really make an effort. And we can learn from the passion that kids have when they learn these things, we can learn so much. How to do it again. This is what I did. Restarted my body and tried to rediscover the senses. So I have a few minutes. As we all know, smell and memory is very efficient. 100% smell memory remain after 1 year, 30% of visual memory remain after 3 months. Why not use this? I was commissioned to do the smell of the memory pavilion at the Serpentine Gallery in London, Hexagon du Morin and Ai Weiwei. I was collecting the patina of all the material for the whole summer, and my version is like this. And I presented it at the Memory Marathon. Another client of mine is the Historical Royal Palaces Foundation, and I'm building up a historical smell archive from the UK palaces. So this is Hampton Court, Kensington Palace, and we are looking into how could smell molecules provide information about the building, about a way of living that we otherwise wouldn't know. So there are different ways the smell can be used. So here me collecting behind the wallpaper, getting access to George II's toilet, inside and beyond. And we did a temporary exhibition where I made, instead of having a lot of artifacts and objects and beyond, in the exhibition, we had smell maps. So people walked around. We printed 500,000 maps for each palace. It was a huge success. So smell codes conveying information is the last thing I'm going to show you. Not only do I just replicate and reproduce smells from reality, I also look into those molecules, the chemical components we have to make all those products called smell and taste. Could they per se have a function? So this is a project I did with Reuter and Lund University, Picture Kills. I choose 398 abstract smells, no referential, nothing you have ever smelled ever in your life. I gave them codes like this. So when the news got in through Reuters, it activated the molecule, and we were testing how much of the news did you remember in the context of a smell and how much not. It was stunning. So I gave a smell code to a content. Here is another project I gave a smell code. The smell of World War I, I have no clue how it smelled at the battlefield of Vendôme. So I made a smell that was so disgusting that everybody that entered this room vomited immediately. And the museum had to make a vomit machine next to my door. And again, it's a similar principle, like if you'll maybe imagine gas don't smell. So in 1918, they put 3 molecules on the top of gas to make it identifiable. This is what I mean with the smell code, giving something a smell that don't have a smell for the purpose of understanding and communicating beyond the look. So what do I do with that in practical application? I make tools for children to render information in a more efficient way. So this is a matter molecule. My daughter had an oral math today. She had the molecule, and she called me saying, "Mommy, full house." They learn in the context of a smell. They recall what they learn in minutes. It's amazing. Thank you very much. Nothing stinks, only thinking makes it so.
Oh, I think I smell alright. Oh, I think I smell alright.
Really incredible. incredibly inspiring, Sissel. Thank you very, very much. And I was thinking that from some of the people you mentioned, Hans Ulrich Ulbost is, of course, a great curator. David Beckham, a sportsman, where you're doing provocation. You're working as a consultant, as an artist, as a researcher. Do you like being these many, many different things, or do you feel actually you do them because you have to get this message across?
Exactly. I mean, as I said before, there's a whole world to smell. There's a whole world to educate how to smell.
Yeah.
And in science, you have to remain objective. In the
Yeah.
creative world, you can still be subjective. That freedom I use very much. So I use the creative world as my platform to showcase serious science issues, you know, and the science benefit from this. So I'm becoming kind of bridging the gap between the corporate world and the science world, and I have a lot of collaboration with a lot of scientists, you know, that they not otherwise wouldn't do, like, so, you know, psychology, linguistic project I'm doing it. I'm working with the Weizmann Institute about handshaking and smelling, and, you know, and a lot of issues that, that they nearly ever try out in reality, that through my existence and my access to the knowledge somehow facilitate that possibility.
And is there an issue of, on a scientific point, of genetics in here? Because do different people from different gene pools smell in a different way?
What do you mean?
Do we experience smell in different ways? And
yes
in different
and
parts
no.
of the
I
world?
mean, we're all born with a neutral nose. Most of all, there's no genes that tells things are bad and good.
Yeah.
And that's cross-culture. And of course, there are cultures where smell is more important, like in Brazil. I've done a lot in Mexico, among others, where really smell is an issue. You live together, food is important, you know, they communicate through smell. They have even vocabulary and terminology that precisely express smell, like we have for colors. You know, why couldn't it be possible? And I'm working on a big project on smell and language at the moment, because I think we have to go beyond the notion of bad and good. We live in a global thinking world. Cleaning things up in India means different than my home country, Norway. It's about time to redefine this notion of bad and good. Yeah? And especially in the world of smell, it's driven by perfume ads. You know, we communicate smell to marketing of fragrance rather than, you know, speaking about, we never speak about food around the table, do we?
I was going to ask you about that,
Yes.
that moral dimension to smell then, because does it, you know, yes, shops use smell to help us sell their products.
Extension of perfume the body. Yeah,
Yes.
you have perfume a shop. So I go in, I amplify what is there. I say, listen, you have it all. Why do you need more? Same I do with the body. Listen, this is you. Fingerprint is important. Your smell is as important as your fingerprint. Smell is tolerance.
You have this incredible library of smells.
Yes.
What future? What do you have plans for it?
I invest a lot in the future in terms of education.
Yeah.
I do a lot of developing different tools at the moment. I set up a couple of institutes, among others in Scandinavia and in the Southeast Asia, and a couple of things. Yes, and I think we need new tools, and we have some for free. So we need some tools for free, which are the senses, and we need new tools to challenge this, what we have already, in a different way. And I think only in harmony with the senses we can be a happy human being and understand the world. If we understand it from all the senses, not just by the look and the sound. Tolerance starts with the nose.
Yeah, brilliant.
So,
thank you
no
very,
problem.
very much, Sissel Tolaas. Sissel.
So one more
Because
question.
the question is actually what will, and you can tell Hadassah.
Well, what are we smelling? Because you gave to the audience some smelling things. What
I
is
gave I think 4 or 5 different smells. They all smells I found in Amsterdam.
Yeah. I thought I recognized
Yes.
it.
In the last couple of years, I've been here for several reasons, and always I collect some molecules.
Can you mention one in particular?
One is the canal.
Yeah.
Yes. And one, I don't remember. One is pretty earthy. One is body sweat with some dog involved.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, and beyond.
okay.
Yes.
So thank you very much. The smell of Amsterdam. That's right.